Right, Emma, what's tip number 4, please?
This, again, kind of links. It's about misconceptions-driven planning. So I talk to my ECTs about this, and I say, whenever you're planning a lesson, don't start with what you're going to teach, start with what they're going to get wrong. So make a list of everything they could possibly get wrong about this, every single possible misconception they could have, and then plan your lesson around that. So you kind of know you're going to go from A to B, but as you're getting that kind of AFL information back whilst you're teaching, you're finding out, oh, they've got this misconception, you don't go, what do I do now? Because you've already thought about it and you've got a screen or two up your sleeve. And because you've prepared that in your planning. So every time anybody saw me teach, they knew I'd have like 40 or 50 slides for a topic. In a lesson, I might only use 4 or 5. But as I was going through, I'd be going, right, we don't need that one, because I'd prepared loads of screens around a misconception. But then I'd just skip through them if I didn't need them. But I knew that one year or one class I would need them, so it was never time wasted. But listing the things children are going to get wrong before you start and having something up your sleeve is so much more effective, because nobody walks into a classroom and all the children follow your thread perfectly. So why don't we plan for that? Why don't we plan for the things they're going to get wrong, rather than overlaying the duvet of learning and saying, right, I'm just going to tuck you all in neatly underneath all of this and we're all going to sit beautifully and comfortably. It's actually saying, okay, right, what's going to go horribly wrong? Let's get that ready.
I love it. I love duvet of learning as well. That's great. I like that. That's very good.
Made that up.
That's very, very good. Right, so a couple of things on this one. So I'm a big fan of this as well. One thing I'm particularly interested here is that I think the less experience you have as a teacher, the more difficult you find it to predict the kind of ways kids may go wrong. Maybe this is a secondary maths thing, but often if you're a secondary maths teacher, you tend to have been pretty good at maths as a student, so maybe you've not made the kind of mistakes that kids are likely to make with maths. So do you find that less experienced teachers find this quite difficult to predict the errors, and are there any strategies that you can you share with less experienced teachers to help them better identify these errors, if that makes sense?
Okay, so whenever they're teaching a particular aspect of something, say an aspect of maths, I just get them to write the problem in the middle, what the problem they're going to be teaching, or the aspect, and then I get them to do a spidergram. All the things you need to know before you can do this. So is it place value to 1,000? Is it understanding the sign for each of the operations? Is it being able to do an approximate kind of an estimate answer in your head? Is it is it understanding what multiplication or division is? So all of these things, first of all, people don't do that. They don't look at an objective and think, what are the prerequisites for this? We just think, we've got out of the elevator on this floor, this is where we go. They don't think about all the other stages that the elevator's had to get to. So there's that one. Yes, it comes with experience as well, because you're always astounded at how much in a tangle children can get themselves. You think, well, where have you got that from? It's a constant surprise, but forewarned is forearmed. And also talking to, if you've got parallel class teachers, or if you're talking to the year group before as well, especially in a primary, if you've got year 3 classes talking to their year 3 to year 2 teacher and saying, what did they find really hard last year, or what were the topics or areas that they really struggled with, again can give you a heads up that they got in a massive mess with something. But I cannot believe that people think that starting with an objective or an overview, or whatever you want to call it, and thinking I'm just going to go from A to B and I'm not even going to think about going wrong. It's a bit like driving with the sat-nav and saying, I'm not going to have to make any detours whatsoever. There is not going to be a jam on the A50. There are not going to be roadworks on the A46. I'm just going to go this way. It doesn't work like that. So misconceptions-driven planning for colleagues is so important. But A, it comes with experience, but B, it comes with thought as well. And you do have to put the thought into what's come before and what might go wrong.
That's lovely. That just one extra follow-up question on this, please, Emma. I'm fascinated by how you describe your kind of PowerPoint that's maybe got 40 or 50 slides, and some of them you don't use, and so on. I'm a big fan of this. So when I'm interested in what is on these slides. So if you predict a student may make a potential error, is it kind of more practice questions? Is it more examples? Is it a different way of explaining it, a visual? What are the kind of things that would be in these slides that you may or may not use, if that makes sense?
Sometimes it's a link to prior learning. So sometimes it may be visuals or pictures of manipulatives that we've used in a topic that links to it. So say we're doing percentages, there might be loads of imagery linked to when we talk decimals and when we talk fractions. So when we try to relate fractions, that we would use the same imagery to say, here it is. So I can kind of scroll back through the imagery there. The other thing, it might be example questions, it might be simplified questions. I might just get partway through a lesson and think, oh God, this is pitched way too high, we need to ratchet it back a little bit. So I'll have the step before up my sleeve as well, for just kind of thinking, no, this is wrong. Or it might be an example, I've got partway through teaching something and actually they're completely all at sea with a constituent part of it, so we need to kind of do a little detour down there, and it might be looking at a particular aspect of something, and we do that before we then go on. So I've kind of anticipated the misconceptions, I've planned for those, I've also planned for the wrong pitch. So I've got something for that one, I've got maybe something that explores an aspect of vocabulary and something in slower, smaller steps. But most of the time when I'm teaching, all you hear is tap, 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 because I'm just literally skipping through the bits that I don't need.
I can only imagine as well, it's quite potentially a powerful thing for the kids, like to say, I'm skipping through this because your understanding's exactly where it needs to be on this.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
Exactly.
This is good. This is really, really nice.
It's like a buffet rather than a set menu.
Nice.
A
Another
buffet
good
of
one.
learning.
You're on fire here. Another great one. I like it.
Yeah.